But let's start with the New Orleans Saints. There were two retirements out of Saints camp right before the first day. The one we've paid all the attention to is the biggest local story and certainly a starting player on the Saints. This is Tyann Mathieu, of course. Spent a lot of time talking about the Honey Badger, his time at LSU, his NFL career, his time with the Saints, and now that he's hung up the cleats, what's next for him? And that's obviously a huge storyline. But there was another one that was under the radar and probably not very impactful, but one that I was a little surprised based on my expectation when this individual joined the Saints. That retirement was Dallin Holker's. The Saints cut Dallin Holker right before camp started, and he said, all right, I'm done. And I thought when the Saints targeted Dallin Holker as an undrafted free agent that this was going to be a hit. Because they really spent on him. They spent six figures on him and brought him in. And you're looking at this guy from a size perspective, had exactly what you're looking for, 6'5", 230 pounds. He's a really good athlete. And he had a very, very productive college career. He was a freshman at BYU in 2018, played in all 13 games, caught 19 balls for 235 yards and a touchdown as a freshman. Then he had the 3-year break for his mission. Comes back to BYU in 2021 and didn't have a monster year the next year, 14 catches, 200 yards. And then he got hurt his junior year and missed some time, so he transferred to Colorado State. But at Colorado State, he had a massive year. He was a Mackey Award finalist in 12 games, 64 catches for 767 yards. To put that in perspective from a local angle, like Mason Taylor's best year at LSU, the highest performing tight end in the history of LSU, his best year was 546 yards. At Colorado State, in his senior year, Dallin Holker had 767 yards. You're talking about 220 more yards. For a career, Mason Taylor had 1308, biggest number in LSU history, 1308. Holker had 1288. You're talking about a difference of 20 yards. And yes, Holker did have 4 years, but he missed all but 3 games of his sophomore year with injury. So massively productive, good size, good athlete, and at a position where the Saints have not been uber talented. Like, Foster Moreau's a proven vet, proven pro, but is he a massively productive receiving tight end? No. We've talked about Juwan Johnson a good bit on this show, and my thoughts on him as a player. He's limited kind of in what he can be, and I just felt like Holker, even though he was an older player, would be able to come in at age 24 as a rookie and make the team and make an impact. And he just didn't. He played in 12 games last year, started 2 of them, and he had 4 targets, 3 catches for 21 yards, and a first down. And that was really it. And, like, I'm not here suggesting that the hit rate on undrafted free agents is huge. And the fact that he was an undrafted free agent that did make the team and did start 2 games is better than most undrafted free agents who just get cut over the course of August and wash out of the league. He didn't do that. He made the team for a year and then was cut and washed out of the league. But that would have been such a really nice piece to add for cheap. What do we keep talking about? Younger, cheaper. Dallin Holker's 25 years old. I realize that you just paid Juwan Johnson a 3-year deal, but Moreau's on the last year of his deal, and you might have been able to use him as an impact piece at tight end. And then maybe if he's a guy that you trust, you don't draft a tight end in the late rounds of this past year's draft. Instead, maybe you draft a wide receiver. I mean, those dots are a little bit tougher to connect because you never know exactly what a Saints war room is thinking, especially late in the draft. But I could connect those because I'm looking at the Saints receiving core right now, and I'm going, you're a big body short. And not that you're guaranteed to lock up a big body receiver that's going to be a productive player for you in the 6th round. No, you're not. But this is the gray area we're talking about with building the Saints roster. We're talking about late round picks. We're talking about undrafted free agents because right now the Saints are in scramble mode to try to accumulate as much productive young talent as they possibly can. And I thought this guy was going to be a hit. And it turns out he hasn't been. So you look at tight end for the Saints and you're stuck with kind of the guys that I was mentioning in that line. Like Foster's on the PUP list. He's not out there right now. And you've got Juwan Johnson, and he's going to be your starter. And Taysom Hill's kind of up in the air with whatever he's going to be. It looks like he's going to come back and try to play We thought potentially at the end of last year that might have been the end of Taysom Hill's career. Talking about a significant injury late in his career, his physical playing style. Like, Taysom Hill only has one speed. It's go fast and run into people. That's really all Taysom has in his toolbox. And how long can you do that with your body kind of breaking down potentially the way his is? And I thought Holker would be a guy that made sense. And it turns out that's not going to be the case. So his career, 1 year, 12 games, 2 starts, 4 targets, 3 catches, 21 yards, a first down, no touchdowns. That's the end of the line for Dallin Holker. So bummer that that one didn't work out, as it looked like it had a lot of promise. But Saints will bring folks in. They're early on in camp right now, and they'll try to do everything they can to fill out that pass-catching crew that's still just missing desperately somebody with some size and athleticism. And Holker's not the biggest guy at 6'3", but at 240 pounds, and as well as he caught the ball in his college career at both BYU and Colorado State, it just felt like that had a chance to hit, but it turns out it does not. So we'll continue to monitor things on a pass-catching perspective from the Saints. We talked to Luke Johnson about it in the first hour. He talked about, kind of the guys they've got after Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks. Like, what is it? Bub Means kind of feels like the next guy. He's going to have to really step up and do a lot more than he did last year this time, and then when the season rolled around and the injury started to pile up, if he wants to be a difference maker on this New Orleans Saints team in 2025. So, hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.